In this video, we're going to take a look at chord movement for gospel music. My name is Tobey from Jazzmentl. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. The process of moving chords in gospel music is quite unique to that style of music, but it also has some crossovers into jazz. And we're going to take a look at the more jazz side. And this was prompted by a comment from Martin Waugh, who says, "Hi Paul, a video by Albin Lopez a few days ago on the Jazz Pianist group reawakened my interest in the voice movement associated with gospel type music. Have a listen to it and would love to explore this theme more on your channel." So not only are we going to explore the theme, Martin, we're going to actually take a look at that recording from Albin Lopez. I went to it just as you requested, and I liked it. I thought it was a pretty good recording. It was recorded on an electric piano with a lot of chorus and delay, so it was a little bit difficult trying to figure out everything that he played, but I think I did a pretty good job, and I've transcribed the entire thing. And even if I missed a note here and there, you won't really notice it in the transcription. So what we're going to do in this video is take a look at that transcription and go through it bar by bar to pick out all of the jazz and gospel movements in chords and in also the different voicings that he plays. So let's dive in right away and get started. First off, you're going to see this beginning pattern. Now, he's basically taking a pentatonic scale from D and essentially playing sixths and thirds. So the first chord is this, which is basically A, and he's putting the fifth of the chord in the root. And then he's also anticipating that with a grace note. A little bit later on, I'm going to play this entire recording for you. I did the transcription and then I recorded it for you so you can hear the whole thing. Right now, we're just going through it kind of piece by piece. I think the thing that makes that whole part interesting is that it is inventive, first of all, but it's just the fact that it's these block chords that are moving together with both hands. And it's very classical in nature, which kind of lends itself to the whole gospel side. I mean, gospel really is a mix of blues, jazz, and classical music. And so that's what he's done here. Now, when you get the sheet music, and I'll post a link to it a little bit later, you're going to have to just practice that. I mean, there's no real formula for that. It's just, how does it fall underneath the fingers? I use 1 and 5 fingers in the right hand, and then the left hand, various fingers. And it continues on in this very classical sort of cycle of fifths thing. And let's just move down the line here a little bit further. So this is the first instance where he's transitioning from classical music to jazz. And you've got this, which is essentially just diminished chords. So if you take a look at the diminished chord, let's write it. It is a C, E flat, D flat, and A. That's basically the diminished chord. Of course, try to remember that it's C natural because the key signature is in D. So this is the diminished chord. And all he's done is just kind of gone and taken the third of the first C diminished, and then he's taken the root and the fifth, this, and he's putting them together, and then just going up the diminished scale. It sounds cool because it's a nice transition between that classical side where it's doing this, And now he's getting into the more gospel side of it with just a straight E minor 7th chord, but then he's filling it out with this cluster here in these two notes here, the F sharp and the G. C sharp diminished. So that chord honestly was a little bit hard to hear because it's so low, and again there was a chorus and delay on the keyboard. I'm not sure if it's exactly right, but it's pretty close. It's good enough. What I might have done there is put in some C sharp 7 with like a sharp 11. But anyway, I think it's close to what he played. And then let's just go a little bit further here. So again, he's got this chord where he's doing, and then he's playing this B minor 7 over A, which is the first real sign of jazz. So you're going to get that chord or that 2/5 in many jazz compositions. It's actually pretty straightforward. And he's just spelling the chord with the 8th notes. That's a nice chord. The A13 flat 9, so here's the flat 9, which is the B flat. And then the 13th, which is the F sharp. And what I do in the recording that you're about to hear is I arpeggiate that. So I play it here. Then I bring the left hand up to play the chord here. And then the right hand finishes it off. And of course, the pedal is down for that whole thing. So starting the line from the beginning of that line. And that chord with the arpeggio again holds, and then you start the melody. And we kind of run out of time. We have about another minute, and we'll finish this off in another video. But I really like what he's done here when he's getting into the melody. He's using these grace notes here, 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 and here. They're kind of like randomly done, so there's no real formula to it. It's just you're anticipating the beats with those grace notes. Very gospel-y. Now this one is very interesting. It doesn't really belong, but in the context of those grace notes, it sounds really cool. So the grace note is G, and then it's popping up to the B flat or the A sharp. Great sound. Now remember, we've done inner voice movements before where in major chords you have those notes available. Right? So it's essentially just a note that's available as an inner voice. Very gospel-y. Okay, we're going to finish this off in another video. Let me play the whole thing for you so you can get excited about this. And when I'm done the performance of it, I'm going to give you a link to the sheet music, which you can download. Yes, I've transcribed the entire thing note for note as best as I could. Put all the chords in, chord symbols. And I'll give you a link to that as soon as it's done. It's only going to take a couple minutes to play it, and then I'll see you after I'm done. All right, so that's the recording of Alben Lopez's performance. I transcribed it and performed it for you. I hope that was enjoyable and you got a sense of where we're headed with this tutorial series. So I'm explaining it as best I can as The Approach by Alben Lopez. And he's just some random piano player on the Jazz Pianist group, of which there are many, many good piano players there. So you might want to check out the Jazz Pianist group on Facebook. So let me put a link to the sheet music up here in the corner. You can go and download that and learn it. It's definitely going to help you with your jazz approach to gospel music. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, that's great. Just hit the little bell and you'll be notified of all of the videos that we're posting. All right, thanks so much for your time. We'll see you in the next video tutorial.